Hello everyone and welcome back to Little Quilter. Today we're starting on it. Finally, the quilt is on the frame. I still am unsure that I'm going to be able to finish it, but it's okay if I don't. My husband came up with a plan and that I do have other quilts sitting aside that I just need to put a binding on, and they aren't super Christmassy, but he said, they would just love to have a quilt. So that is my plan. I am still going to do my very best to get this quilt done, and I do have a design plan for the most part. So my original idea had been to kind of do this background with different ones. I definitely knew I wanted to do ribbon candy, and I wanted to keep the squares very simple because I'm just wanting the fabric to be the star of that. But what I wasn't sure about was what to do in the background of the actual sweaters. And so as we get there, I've still not totally decided. I'm pretty sure what I've decided to do in that area, but I'm going to wait till I get there. Now, this is what I've decided to do for the border, and I've decided to do it on both borders, them being the same color, sandwiching between. I thought I wanted it to be something very consistent, maybe alternating directions or something like that, we'll see, but I have a bit of a sample. I was getting everything set up and I was testing my thread, and I did a little bit of a sample, but I also had to adjust the tension on my machine, so I kind of also ran over the sample. And speaking of thread, what am I doing? I have decided to do the cotton candy pink again. I think it's cotton candy. Let me look. Pink rose, sorry. I think so. The top thread is Pink Rose by Glide, and Cotton Candy is the Glide thread on the bottom on the Magna Glide bobbin. That's where the cotton candy came from. Now, let me turn this around and let me show you. Okay, so here's the quilt. My explanation of doing this, it definitely matches my fingernail polish, which was not on purpose, but that's a good reason to choose it. Also, I just thought there's a lot of pinks in this quilt and reds, and I thought it would go really well. It blends in really nicely with this tan background. It's going to be a little bit brighter on the borders, which is only slightly concerning because my plan is this right here, which obviously I know looks absolutely insane. Please don't get too crazy just yet on me here. So what I am going to do is like a holly. So I'm going to have two little balls of berries and then two little holly leaves come out, do another one, two holly leaves come out, and so just going back and forth between those, trying to fill in those spaces. I do like, and originally I was just doing them like this, but I do like adding this little line in here. So I did it on these, and I tried to do it on these here, and I know that it makes it potentially a little bit busy, but also I recognize like a lot of this will not be here, right? So my idea came from looking at pantographs. So you can see I have that pantograph still back there from the legendary quilt. So I was looking at pantographs to get ideas, and I loved the idea of a holly, and then I kind of thought maybe I could do it myself. We actually have some glass markers, so where you can write on just your regular glass panes downstairs for my daughter, and we have a little window, not a window, we have a door that goes to the outside that's all glass. And so I just picked up one of those one morning and just started drawing with it to see what it would look like if I just freehand drew it. And I actually really liked it. And then I was like, I can't do that across the entire quilt. That's insane. And also, I couldn't make a consistent like you can on a pantograph where it just flows beautifully and is spaced nicely. I was not able to do that because I kind of thought about doing it all over the quilt, and then I was like, definitely can't be doing that. So as I was trying to decide on what the heck am I going to do with all of these borders I've now created with myself, I thought of that. I tried it out on my iPad after I took my photo and drawing that on there, and I thought it went really, really well. Now, I did decide, like I said, I'm going to do it on both sides. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start quilting this because I'm on a time crunch and I need to get it done. So let's go. Okay, just had to take a moment to say how much I love how this is going, which is probably going to jinx it, but that's okay. I can fix it, I hope. And I think it looks so good. I know that the pink is very bright here, but because the rest of the quilt is so exciting, and this little section right here is going to draw your eye, but there's absolutely nothing happening there, I think that the pink is going to look fine. I don't think it's going to look as pink until you get up close, so I think it will blend really nicely with the other pinks in the quilt, but whenever you look at it here, I think on this green background, it just gives it a little bit more of a cream colored. Like, I don't feel like it's so pink when you look at it a little bit farther away from it. Okay, so continuing work on the border here, working on the picture frame border, which was definitely, lots of people had really awesome ideas about it. It was probably both one of the most time consuming, but also one of the most rewarding things, because I just kind of had the idea to do this little picture frame, created the little template based on the size that I thought would work, which ultimately it didn't work, but it ended up working just fine. And now what I've decided to do for the quilting is to keep it very simple. And that is just because, again, a lot going on with the quilt. I've got the really intricate border going on the top, and then again this will be repeated on the bottom of this as well. And so the other side of this is that for me, the pictures here are what you are supposed to look at. So we're drawing our eye to the little photos, and I thought, what better way to do that than to actually frame them? So basically going through it and outlining all of these as if they were one of those little frames that, you know, the corner frames that you put photos in. Obviously, I don't know how much more difficult I could describe a frame for you. So let me show you a picture of it, or a video of what I've done so far close up. And I will say this, I don't feel like I have devised yet the best way and the most efficient way to do this. Maybe potentially going all the way around and then coming back through. I don't know. That is one of those things that I'm not always the best at doing a really efficient quilting. I feel like if you watch Natalia Bonner or some of them, they really don't go back over their stitches that frequently. I am not that quilter. So I kind of have an idea of where I'm going and I know where I want to go, but sometimes in order to get there, I have to backtrack over my stitches. I'm not too upset with that, and honestly, I think for the most part, it's really not detracting to the quilt, in my opinion. Now, yes, obviously, if you like were way over here, you know, had two V-shaped lines or vertical lines or, you know, perpendicular lines that you were trying to cross, you know, the same over, then that would be very distracting. But I think, you know, a smidge off here, a smidge off there, especially, you know, when you're trying to just keep your thread going, I think is perfectly fine. So now here is the area where I had to add that extra portion, and this is mirrored on this side of the quilt down here, or what will be this side of the quilt at the bottom. So I'm not quite sure what to put in here. If any of you guys have an idea, I thought about mirroring this, but I don't think that would be good. Maybe drawing in like one of these little ornaments. I don't know. What should I put here? I feel like leaving it blank is definitely going to draw an eye to it, so I need to put something in here, but I don't think it needs to be crazy detailed, because again, I think it needs to be a little bit more on part with what we've got going on here, which is very flowy, very open, which is really leading to this quilt coming together quickly. You can see all of the border done, and then I'm already to this part here, so that's really good news for actually finishing this quilt on time. All right, everybody, that is the rows of the borders done. I'm going to be moving the quilt up, so I will continue doing that same pattern around the entire quilt, so I won't be showing you guys that again. Unless you have any questions about it, I can show you some more. Otherwise, the next time that we will be filming, we're going to be jumping into the actual meat of the quilt, so that beautiful ugly sweater design, as well as the sashing design that I'm going to do throughout that the quilt as well. So, as always, I hope you guys have enjoyed. This quilt is the Ugly Sweater Quilt. I've got the actual If you're interested in watching how I put this quilt together, take a look at those videos. I've got if you're interested in purchasing the actual Ugly Sweater Quilt design, I've got it posted down below to the Etsy shop of the creator of the Ugly Sweater one. Now, there are a lot of them out there, so there are certainly other designs and templates that you guys could do as well, but if you're interested in that one, it's down below. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know. I love hearing from you guys, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.